Hello and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. I have two American blended whiskeys, and neither one have a website listing now. This one did, but then their website just went defunct 2 weeks ago, and I am not finding any information on the company all of a sudden. And I mean nothing. It's like they went out of business, basically. So, but anyway, if that happened, I can't help that. This is Texas 254 blended whiskey, and it's in honor of the 254 counties in Texas. It's made in Waxahachie, Texas by Backwoods Craft Distillery. Backwoods Craft Distillery. And what they were touting is that they produced all of their stuff in-house at that distillery, which was a metal building I could see from the highway photo. Nothing wrong with that, but not any sourced whiskey. That's fine, but I think it might have been so much cost, so much overhead that it's sunk them. You see, because you could save a lot of money sourcing it. But whatever the case, it was a in proprietorship. It was one guy that owned it. His initials were MBW, sorry, and that's it. Okay, so this is 80-20, an 80-20 blend ratio, 80% grain neutral spirits, 20% straight whiskey of some sort, which to me it tastes like straight corn whiskey, honestly. It's 80 proof, typical whiskey proof, 40% alcohol, the minimum, can't go below that, call it whiskey. And it's aged for 2 years, only 2 years. So that's the minimum for straight whiskey, but obviously this could not be straight whiskey because it's 80% grain spirits. Now, if they took those grain spirits and aged them in new charred oak barrels for 2 years, then it would be all straight whiskey, but it's not. So anyway, all right. $19.99 for this big glass bottle. I like that it's glass. Presents, it's a lot prettier. $19.99 at Broadway Liquors in New Orleans. Only place I saw it. Total Wine had it listed, but they didn't have it available anywhere. So it's like, doesn't do me any good out of stock. But they didn't have this big bottle anyway. They just had the regular bottle size, and it wasn't even a good deal on it compared to this price per ounce. All right, anyway, enough of that story. Chances are, it had this foil cover on it, you see, but it got torn off. I had to tear it off. It was all the way wrapped around the top, but I had to tear it off to open it. Just a twist cap, no cork. Now here's a even cheaper product. This is Seagram's American 83. Not to be confused with Seagram's 83 Canadian whiskey, blended whiskey. Whiskey with natural flavors and caramel color. 83 proof, 1883. And this is, so it's a different proof, 83, not the typical 80. It's blended and bottled in America. It's bottled in Kentucky, but it makes no claim that it is distilled in Kentucky. So it's probably 2 shades of red and the gray and black background with the Seagram's emblem. This was introduced only in 2022. Now you say, no, I live in Canada. Seagram's 83 been around a long time. Yeah, that's right. In Canada, and it's a different product. It's not the same product. It's owned by the same parent company, Seagram's, okay? Not Seagram's. Sazerac, sorry about that. Because Seagram's sold their Seagram's whiskey line to Diageo in 2000, but I think the sale was completed in 2001. It takes a while for these sales to complete. Then Diageo didn't really want any of it, so they sold it all to Sazerac in 2016. They kept hold of their American Seagram's, the Seagram 7 Crown, which they still heavily promote on the internet, not on television, I don't think. I think Seagram's 83 came out in Canada in like 1933. It was like an anniversary edition, the 50th anniversary of the new Seagram's distillery in Canada, which was opened in 1883. 1883. The Seagram's company goes back to the 1850s, 57. But that was a new distillery. And then the 50th anniversary of it, they launched Seagram's 83. And it's got a different bottle design in Canada. It's got a different ABV. It's a different product. The only thing that makes it like this is it's made from grain, and it's called Seagram's 83. So we don't get that one from Canada, and they don't get this one from the United States. So, you know, but Sazerac owns both. They can do whatever they want. Now, if I went on a road trip to Canada, I would try to find Seagram's 83 and buy it. Just to say, look, I bought it and brought it back, you know. Wesley S. Steimer says, greetings, Ron. I've never tried Seagram's. Maybe I will try it. I just finished up watching your duo review of Modelo Negra. I thought it was an easily drinkable beer. Yeah, I like Modelo Negra, and I saw it yesterday, 12 packs for $17.99. Well, that's too expensive. It used to be $15.50. I liked $15.50, but $17.99, nah, too much. Even though it's a good product. Herbie says, sir, hello to you in India. All right, so I know in India they have Seagram's whiskeys there also. Most popularly Seagram's 100 Pipers blended Scotch, but that's not related to this at this time. This is not a typical American blended whiskey in the sense that they're not using neutral spirits, no grain neutral spirits. It's all pure whiskey. And this was $18.99 for this handle, $18.99. So it was $1 cheaper. And that's the typical price around here. This one, okay, they used to have a product. There was a product on the shelves from Sazerac called Ancient Age Preferred. Ancient Age Preferred had a black label with a pink or magenta trim, like that reddish pink trim. It might have been red. I don't know. I think it was. But anyway, that's irrelevant. So Ancient Age Preferred blended whiskey is 80% grain spirits. When Dixie sold it, I saw it at BenQ in Baton Rouge, and then it just disappeared around 2 years ago. I don't think anybody preferred it. That was the price. Ancient Age sells well. That's sour mash, straight bourbon. But Ancient Age Preferred doesn't look like anybody preferred it. So it just abruptly went away. But right at the same time it disappeared, this showed up. I was looking in the store one day and I wasn't looking for this, so I didn't know it existed. And I saw Seagram's 83 and I was shocked. At first I said, is it coming in from Canada? I can't believe it. Then I realized it's made in Kentucky. Well, at least bottled there. And it said whiskey with natural flavors and caramel color. I said, oh boy. Sazerac is good about that. Now, I'll give them credit. They put out a lot of cheap stuff now. I gotta say that too. But they also will tell you if they're adding natural flavors and caramel color. And they're not required to tell you that. They got that Hartley brandy. It says it right on the thing. Made with Italian brandy. I don't know why they go to the trouble to import it from Italy, but it's always been that way. And then they say with natural flavors and caramel color. Here, this one here, natural flavors and caramel color. But they're not required to put that on there. That's an option disclosure. They put it on there as a courtesy because if you read your regulations, you take American blended whiskey, you do not have to put it on the label if you add in coloring. So you could very quietly, or if you want to say sneakily, add flavoring to spruce it up. Maybe to cover up some nastiness or something like that. But I'll notice all kind of Sazerac or Buffalo Trace, same company. If you get Buffalo Trace products or Sazerac products, they very often will say with caramel color added. It'll just say with color added. That means they're just adding coloring. Or it'll say with flavoring added, but it won't say coloring. So that means they're not adding coloring. If it doesn't say either or, my feeling is that it doesn't have it. Because why would they say that a lot, but not always say it? You see what I'm saying? They're like meticulous about it, which I appreciate. Now, what you noticed probably when I held those up was that the Texas 254 was very light, straw colored, pale, 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 and the 83 was dark, like mahogany. Well, it ought to be dark. They got coloring added. If they didn't add the coloring, it'd probably be pale like the Texas 254. 254. Here, people doesn't sip; they gulp it. Now, I'm sorry to hear that. Gotta be careful with whiskey. Whiskey's like fire. It's useful but dangerous. Useful but dangerous. I've seen a lot of people run into danger with it and not succeed with it. And it's all downhill from there, you know. You say, what about medicine? Well, yeah, it's the same problem. Medicine is useful. We need it. But some people abuse it. And look what happens to them. They go down, down, down into a burning ring of fire. You know, it's a bad situation. A lot of these medicines are addictive, especially painkillers. And they can't get out of it. And they go, and they'll always be in denial, you know. Usually, some of them will admit it. I'm just an addict, you know, they'll say, but they'll usually be in denial. Oh, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm all right. I just need it. I'm ill. Yeah, but your illness is probably mostly exacerbated. It may be an illness, but it's made much worse by your abuse of the medicine, which is creating all kind of side effect illnesses that were not related to the original illness, which might have been a relatively minor problem. And now you have this massive problem. Of course, the most famous example, Elvis Presley, you know, famous singer, Elvis Presley, and movie actor, but went downhill quick with misuse of medicine. And then see, he would say, well, I got it from the doctor. I got it from the doctor. It's a prescription, but he would shop around, you see. Well, he ended up latching on to one particular doctor who may or may not have been guilty of prescribing. But I think he was trying to actually help him because the doctor knew he would shop around anyway. And he would, basically try to trick him, you know, like taking out half the medicine and putting in sugar water, placebo and stuff. But he wouldn't fool him, you know. He'd say, oh, this stuff's, no, something wrong with this stuff. You know, it's a big old mess. All right, anyway, but you know, you say, well, I know people like that in my neighborhood. Yeah, well, that's right. They're not famous, so they don't get attention about it. Like Michael Jackson did. He was another example. Got injured in a fire, legitimate injury, but it caused a downward 30-year spiral of drug abuse, you know. And very bizarre behavior, much of which was probably related to the misuse of the medicine, but probably also related to his strange personality, which was present before any medical misuse. You know what I'm saying? He was peculiar to start with, but it got much worse, you see. All right, anyway. Now, you could counterattack me and say, well, you do taste challenges every day, practically. Skip some time, but well, that's true. But on the other hand, I'm trying to portion them out very finely. Got little couple of ounces of each. Try to space it out over 24 hours, you know, one now, and then I might do one for tomorrow because it'd be busy, you know. But yeah, you got to be careful because I've seen people do video reviews, have their own channel, and go downhill on the air, just turn it to this perpetual wasteland, and they go off the rails, and pretty soon it's like total mess. Some of whom are still active, and I could name them, but I'm not going to, but you probably know who I'm talking about in some cases. And they get to the point where they're busy doing nothing all day. I have things planned for today, most of which involves painting, still working on the painting project outside. That's a tedious project, you know what I mean? It'll wear you out with that brush back and forth. I mean, it'll wear, but it's exercise and it's productive. You're doing something, and it's gonna come out real nice when I'm finished, but it's, you know, it looks kind of bad now because it's half finished. You know how painting looks when it's half finished, but it's going to be finished. Okay, God willing, you know. Don't think I'm gonna have enough paint though. I got to buy some more, I think. Yeah. And now this Walmart here doesn't do mixing anymore. It got me mad. Got me mad, like crazy mad, you know. Okay, this smells like regular corn liquor. I'm telling you, it just smells like corn distillate, like corn alcohol, ethanol. Yeah, that's what the word is, ethanol. They got automobiles run on ethanol. But you said, but that's a government subsidized corn liquor they put in cars. That's right. Do they need to put ethanol in automobiles? No. But the government does it because they subsidize farmers to get votes. And they got both parties doing it, Republican and Democrat. So you could take sides if you want. You're very partisan. You say, I'm very partisan. I hate Democrats, or vice versa. I hate Republicans. Okay, fine. Well, then you better hate yourself because both parties do this. They're in on that scam, which is a scam. I mean, there's no reason to fund ethanol production for automobiles, but they do it because they want that farm lobby. You say, well, those poor farmers need help. A lot of these poor farmers are multinational companies that rake in billions of dollars a year. They call that corporate welfare. They certainly don't need it, but they want it and they get it because they got control well, I don't want to say control, influence. It's like liquor distribution. We don't need liquor distributors per se. Well, why do we have them? Government monopoly. The government, state and federal government have strict restrictions that a beer company cannot sell directly to the public. Is there any need for that restriction? Obviously not. But they'll pretend like they need it. And it's all to help these juiced in people. Juiced in meaning they're connected to government officials. Who knows if they're getting kickbacks, like giving them under the table cash money for doing this? We don't know. And it's a monopolistic situation. There is no such rule in England. That's why you can go to a bar room, or what they call them, pubs or taverns over there, that's owned by the beer company. It'll be a Guinness brewery with a Guinness truck delivering it to a Guinness bar room, and they only sell Guinness beer there. True story. Illegal here. All right. It's a crime, but it's not a crime. You see, they're making a crime out of something that's obviously not a crime. You haven't stolen anything from anybody. You haven't defrauded them. You're just not allowed to do it. All right. So these don't smell different. I mean, they just smell like corn liquor. Because they're mostly corn. Both. Well, I don't know that about Seagrams because it's a pure, there is no grain spirits in it. You can add unaged grain spirits to a whiskey in the United States, up to 80% unaged, but you got to put it on the bottle what the percentage is. You got to that is a required disclosure. It must be disclosed, you see. So just like you got to disclose what type of product is in the bottle. In this case, blended whiskey. Blended whiskey has to be on. It's not an option. Has to be. You must list the alcohol level. Not an option. All right. You must list the year, how long it's aged. If it's less than 4 years, you must list it. Okay. So there you go. Now, are these expensive whiskeys in here? Now, you know as well as I do, they're not. For $18.99. You say it's cast off whiskey that they bid on somewhere at some auction, and it's reject from Brown Forman and Heaven Hill and Wild Turkey and Buffalo Trace and other people. Well, that's exactly what it is. You know that. I know that. American people know that. All right, taste. Oh, whoa. That tastes like sweet corn, and I am not kidding about that. On the other hand, it could be the flavor. Now, I think that Seagram's 83 had like a vanilla flavor or something. Let me go over here because it's been 8 months since I tried it last time. Oh, yes. This one has more of that caramel flavoring. I think they add caramel to it. I don't mean just the coloring. That's caramel color. Caramel color, I say color has no flavor. But caramel itself has flavor, which is like burnt sugar because that's what it is. Brown sugar, at least. Creme brulee would be like the burnt. Okay. I think this is the Texas 254. It is. Look how light. I didn't even need labels for this one here. Look how light that is. I know that's the M. Well, I can't tell because of the reflection. Yep. M, main product, because I'm doing this versus everybody else. This is C, the competitor. And then tomorrow I'll have another competitor. So I got 3 right, 2 wrong. I think I really got the taste for it now. That corn, that sweet corn. So I think I'll get it right from now on. I'll keep getting it right. I don't know that, but I hope that's the case. Okay, comments. Yeah, Wesley said, yeah, I tried some Evan Williams honey because they were out of the plain one. I'm not a big fan of honey and whiskey. The 27 Club. Yeah, the 27 Club. Well, in his case, he was 42, but you know. I will finish the 375 today. Does Seagram still make the 7 blend? Says Rubesy Boobsy. Yes. Certainly do. It's very popular. Not well regarded, you know, the liquor experts, you know, people that do videos and all, the connoisseurs, they say terrible things about it. But that's not who buys it. Not liquor aficionados who track down with expensive bourbons to show all their friends what they bought. They don't buy this. Who buys this? Just regular people who are no better or worse than the liquor fans. You know what I mean? It's just people who buy it, you know, just to drink it. They don't think about it. Like people that buy Pepsi Cola, they're not over there thinking about it. Let me think about it. I'm so amazed. No, they just like, it's like buying bubble gum. You know, I'll show you the screen share. I know the ads. All right, screen share. Ta-da-da. Here's the American one. Let's say the icon. It is icon because it's real, and there it is with 7-Up. Because they're in a collaboration with 7-Up. Why is that? Because in Seagram 7 is a famous highball. 7 and 7. Tall glass, bunch of ice, 7-Up, and Seagram 7. The famous highball. Do I drink it? No. I don't just drink it in taste challenges, and that's the truth. You say you lie. Say that if you want, but I'm telling you I don't. Now they also make 7 Crown Apple, which I thought was really good. And I got it for cheap. Was it as good as Seagram's, the Crown Royal apple, which used to be a Seagram's brand too? If you look at old bottles of Crown Royal, they say Seagram's Crown Royal. I mean, really old bottles, like, 40 years, something like that. But over 40 years ago. So I can't say it's better than Crown Royal apple because I never had Crown Royal, but it was dang good, and I got it for the cheapest price in the world, $3.99 for a regular bottle. I'm not even making that up. I can't explain it. I don't know why they got it for $3.99. You know why they sold it for $3.99 on that special offer, but I bought it, and so did everybody else I was talking to. They said, "Yeah, I bought it." I said, "What? How did you like it?" They said, "Get in one night." A man, his wife, and his son. I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, man. I had it in the fridge, and we started drinking it, and we kept drinking it, and we liked it." I said, "Well, the Crown Dark Honey. Never had it. Of course, Seagram 7 Crown. I've had that many times, and that's what you were asking about. So there you go. You see." I know there was a salted caramel and a cinnamon, but they don't on the website. But I've seen them. I've seen them in the store. I've seen the salted caramel and the cinnamon in the store. I wasn't compelled to buy them because there's so many other things. But I would theoretically buy it. Okay, now the 7 and 7 were all the rage 50 years ago. Yeah, back 1974. If you went anywhere, yeah. But I was 6 years old, so I wasn't drinking at all. I mean, I was drinking children's drinks, But so anyway, there it is. The two. Now, what's the winner? The winner. They're about the same price. $1 difference. Can't say too much about $1, but I like the sweet corn. Gotta admit. Well, it's a tie. No winners, no losers. They cost about the same. They don't look the same, but they mostly taste the same with some noticeable but rather insignificant differences, such as the little bit of caramel, and over here is just the corn liquor. But man, if it was me, I'll just buy whatever was cheaper. Now you say, "Oh, I don't like that plastic bottle. That's nasty to me. I hate plastic bottles." But yeah, then don't buy it. Pay the extra $1 and get the Texas 254. If you don't care, like me, I don't really care. People say it makes it taste different. I don't believe that. If you want to believe that, go ahead, believe it. But I don't believe it. I think the plastics industry knows what they're doing, but I don't work for them. I'm not defending them. Just saying I think they do. But anyway, yeah. Yes, I think glass looks prettier. It's nicer, but ultimately, I don't think it matters. All right. These are a lot lighter. I'll say that much. But yeah, so the winner is your choice. Pick them. You decide. I can't. But I could tell them apart with some kind of tough effort. But anyway, so take your pick. Seagram's 83, probably at a store near you, but I don't think it's doing that well. I don't think Ancient Age Preferred was doing anything. So then they put the Seagram's 83 on the shelf, and that doesn't seem to be going anywhere. I could be wrong. Maybe people buy it, but I like literally never saw anybody buy that in my life. Texas 254, that's almost a non-entity. The chances of finding that are basically zero. I stumbled across it. I don't expect to ever see it again. And my feeling is that the company's out of business, but I could be wrong. Maybe they're redoing their website. Seems strange though. Like, what was wrong with the website store? I don't know. It's confusing. Do you prefer Corona Extra or Modelo Especial? I know Dave prefers the Especial. Probably don't care either way. I like them both. It's a tie. I'll say a tie. I might give a slight edge to the Corona Extra, honestly, because I kind of like that smooth corn back note. But I'll take either or. I'll just shop price, which in this case, they're the same price, so that doesn't matter. Okay, last call. Back in 74, I was just starting to dabble in tobacco use. I hope you were over 21. But I was starting to dabble in Land of the Lost. And that was in September 74. I was so excited over the summer that Land of the Lost was coming on the air because they kept promoting it the whole summer. And I was like, I can't wait for this to start. So then when it premiered, I was just like caught up in that. I was like so amazed by it. Well, I was 6 years old. And then, but then when they replaced the lead actor with his brother or something, their uncle, but that then I it wasn't as good. But I didn't really watch it after that. But he quit or something like that. But the first couple of seasons was really good. The third year was kind of well, obviously not that good. I didn't watch it. But maybe I just lost interest. I might have lost interest either way. But I was amazed the first 2 years now. It was a very intelligent show for children. You know, it wasn't just like idiocy. I know I get off topic. Have a good morning. You too, Wesley. Yes, the Slee Stacks. I used to like them. They were scary. Then they had the crystals that you had to coordinate them to go into the future or back or whatever. It was a good show, man. And they had the like little cave boy and all. Oh yeah, there was a whole bunch of them, right? Oh yeah, that was a great show actually. All right, y'all take care now.